boy. I've been tolerant, indulged your little pastime, but it is long overdue that you get on with your duty to me. A duty to you which of course supersedes my service to king and country, Nathaniel drawled. His father, a man who was never crossed, would also never expect sarcasm. Bloody right it does, at least you know that much, he blustered. Furthermore, you've not served king, crown, and country for some years now. Leave it to his contrary father to happen to know that detail about him. The Duke looked to his wife, hovering just at Nathaniel's shoulder. Your son is being stubborn, just like you. Just like her. The Duchess's greatest challenge to her husband's ways had been to love her children far more affectionately than the Duke deemed fit and proper. Children, in the Duke's opinion, should be raised by nannies, governesses, and the staff, not by his lady wife. She fluttered there, like a pale, uncertain butterfly. Nathaniel is a good boy. A good boy? The Duke snorted. If he were a good boy, he'd do his damn duties, sing to his responsibilities instead of making my life difficult. His mother made nonsensical, soothing noises, placating the blustery Duke the same way she'd tended to all her sons. Nathaniel narrowed his gaze on his sire, searching for a hint of himself in that face. With the Duke's bulbous nose flaring and his dark-eyed gaze rheumy from age, Nathaniel luckily found none. Nathaniel had blonde hair where his father's was dark. He possessed blue eyes where the Duke's were brown. Aside from the obstinate line of an intractable jaw and a like towering height of 6 feet 4 inches, that was where all similarities between father and son ended. Though there was one even more important difference between the two. Nathaniel didn't give 10 damns about the old Duke. That indifference, and absolute lack of connection to his sire, had been a gift handed down from the man who'd sired him. His Grace dropped his meaty paws upon the desk once more, and leaned forward, putting Nathaniel more in mind of the Duke's prized hands. I've indulged you enough, he said, spittle forming at the corners of his fleshy lips. I've let you play at being a pirate. Privateer, Nathaniel interrupted in frosty tones to rival those of the cold-hearted lord across from him. The Duke remained unvexed. I've even allowed you to buy yourself a shipping company. He thumped his fist once more, this time harder. But I'll be damned if I— As his father rattled on about his latest grievance, Nathaniel curled his hands sharply in his lap. For most noblemen, it would be enough that behind Nathaniel were Lawrence, Sebastian, Eric, and Jamie, 4 equally capable sons. While the Duke continued his lecture, Nathaniel stared at a point over the top of his head. It once had 5 brothers in total. The eldest, Marcus, however, was gone, as was the memory of him. Though in truth, as the heir, Marcus had been shut away by the Duke and tasked with learning his future responsibilities early enough that he'd never been there, not truly. The fact that Marcus had been more stranger than sibling hurt still, and it served as another needless reminder of why Nathaniel so resented the man who'd helped give him life. He cut into the Duke's fiery speech. If anything should happen to me, Lawrence, Sebastian, Eric, and Jamie would each do an admirable job in the role of future Duke. Sebastian and Eric are fighting their cur's forces, and Jamie is just a boy. That left the rogue amongst them. Lawrence, his father slammed his palm down. You are my heir. Nathaniel kicked back in his seat and dropped his booted foot across his opposite knee. Ah, yes, and it would be unpardonable to interact in any way with your younger sons. Another man might have taken offence and sworn his affection and allegiance to the 4 spares. Intractable and unfeeling, the Duke proved as indifferent as he'd always been. You are done, Nathaniel. I will speak to Prinny myself, his father vowed. He'd do it, too. Yes, the Duke had 4 sons behind Nathaniel who were just as capable of taking on his responsibilities. But to him, the next heir was the only heir. And as the Duke was the best friend of the Mad King, his son, the Prince Regent, would honour the Duke's connection to the crown. His father jabbed a finger Nathaniel's way. You are going to marry the Duke of Talbot's girl. He cast a glance at his wife. What is her name? It doesn't matter. The Duke cut off that detail, focusing his attention on Nathaniel. It's your godmother and godfather's daughter. Of course it doesn't matter, Nathaniel interrupted in tight tones. Why should the name of the woman you're attempting to force me to wed be of any relevance? The Duke gave his first approving nod of their meeting. Exactly.